Oh, welcome to my channel. My name's Shane, and I'm basically just right now I'm not actually living at home because I'm away doing school, finishing up my schooling. So but I'm here for the weekend, and what I am doing is I'm building a drift car. I've already started it, but here's the rundown of my drift car. Basically, I want to show you just want to show you my drift car and basically tell you a little bit of what I'm gonna do. Kind of want to show you how to put a hydraulic e-brake in. I already did it on my car, but I'll go over how it's done. It's pretty easy, and then I'll show you to do some double flares so you can get your e-brake lines good and not leaking. So let's get started here. This is my car. So it's a 93 BMW 325i, and when I bought it, it was automatic and just completely stock. Right now, the only thing I've done to it is I put lowering springs in the front, which will be changed to coilovers. I've swapped it to a manual, which is pretty straightforward. You basically just take all of your automatic out and you replace it with manual stuff. So, and there's minimum wiring to do. So let's move on to the car. Interior. So what's been done? Floors. Everything is stripped out of here for the most part. I still have more to do. I want to take the headliner out. I want to take these all this stuff out that's not necessary. The dash will stay in at least for a while. Let's see what else. This is my hydraulic handbrake. It's just, I literally got it off like a Chinese site, and I actually haven't tried it for real, but I got it working, so that's good. Custom shifter, skateboard wheels. I'm a skateboarder, so that's what that's all about. Gotta have one of these in all drift cars. Securely mounted, very important. Gotta have the switches somehow, so I welded this bracket in. Gauges will be going here. I'm probably gonna take the stereo out. I haven't decided yet because I like music, and I don't know. It's just a hard decision for me. I have relocated the battery to the center there for good reason. That being, my battery tray is rotten. So rotten. That's not safe. Like, when I got the car, I was sitting in here with a mat under it, and like the battery was gonna fall through the car, which would have been catastrophic. A little bit of rust. Really, the only rust in this car is in the trunk. It's kind of weird, but that's that. It's on jacks in the rear because I am just finished putting the hydro in, and it's being bled, but I haven't dropped the car yet. But it's good because I want to do this video, so I'll show you how. This one here is the inlet. Alright, you know, most people would think this is the inlet. This one's actually the inlet from your master cylinder, from your brake master cylinder. Right there. There's a line coming off there that goes to the rear. So from there goes into your hydro. These are double flared, which I'll teach you how to double flare. Nice tight, using I used a special tool for this. I'll show you that. And then goes into there. Make sure this is all protected from rubbing through. And this one's the outlet. When you push this, pressure will go out and to your rear brakes. So alright, here you can see this line here is coming from your master cylinder. This usually would just go straight through to your rear brakes, and then it tees off back there to each brake. So what you do is you cut this line and you put the inlet side with a coupler. These are both double flared to make a seal. This side goes up into that inlet of the hydro e-brake. This side is the one that comes out of the hydro e-brake and goes to your rear lines. So when you press your brakes normally, it basically just runs through your hydro e-brake and they work just like normal. But when you pull your hydro, your rear brake lines are the only ones that are going to lock up, if that makes sense. Alright? Now afterwards, after you have installed your hydro, everything's tight, you're going to want to bleed your rear brakes. So the easiest way to do this is make a contraption like so. Bottle with a piece. Make a contraption like this. Bottle, piece of hose goes all the way to the bottom. It should be in a little bit of fluid. When you take this end, and it fits over your nipple there, so that you have someone inside the car pump your brakes, hold them down, and it'll bleed air out this side. I can do a video on bleeding brakes if that's requested, but for now that's just a simple explanation. And you're always going to want to start bleeding brakes from the farthest brake caliper away from the master cylinder, which is the master cylinder on this car is on the front left side of the engine bay. This is the rear right side brake. So this is farthest away. We bleed this one first, and then we'd bleed the driver's side. So, alright, so here we have the double flare braking kits. I have two, so I want to show you something. This one here is the one I originally tried to use, and it's pretty old. It's from my grandpa, and you know, it's been used a lot. So I'm sure it worked fine back in the day, but as you can see, I don't know if you can see, but this hole is kind of messed up. Also, what's really annoying about these ones is the way you tighten them. So you basically have to take this bar to tighten them, and these tools need to be super tight in order for them to not slip and actually work. This is your 3/16 brake line. Pretty standard for most cars. This here is a brake line cutting tool, or a pipe cutting tool. So yeah, anyways, this style with the bar, I really don't recommend it. It's actually pretty hard to use, especially if it's older. So get rid of that. This is the new one I bought, and the main reason I got this one is because everything is tightened by hex nuts, which makes everything so much easier, and it's just gonna get you better flares every time, easier. So, and this is on sale at Princess Auto for $16. You can't go wrong with that. So now I'm gonna show you how to do a double flare. So you gotta take this and just turn it, tighten it, turn it, tighten, turn, and repeat.
3 hours later.
It'll happen eventually, I promise. There we go. Now that you got this cut inside here, it's a little bit, you know, it's not, you gotta clean that up a bit. So sometimes these tools come with some sort of file, a little pointy file, but in this case I'm just gonna use a Phillips head screwdriver. Stick it in there, kind of just use it as a file to get those extra burrs out. There it is, clean. So we need to use this hole right here. It's 3/16. It's really hard to see, I'm sorry about that. 3/16 bubble flare adapter. Loosen your tool, so that you can slide your brake line in there. Now what you need to do is, you see this, the thickness of the bottom plate, the thickness of that plate is the height that you want sticking through here, if that makes sense. So you put it up to there and you tighten it down so that's the same height. So this is flush. Whoa. Make sure it's in the vise good, I guess. Fuck. For the purpose of this video, I do have this tool in a vise, which makes it 100 times easier. When you're going to be doing these flares inside your car, you're basically going to be crouching in your car or sitting in your seat. I just took mine out because I'm putting a bucket seat in. But you're going to be doing it in your car without a vise, so you have to hold it really tight. And also, you're going to be lying down and doing it underneath your car. So I suggest practice doing this on the bench in a vise, just with a spare piece, and then move on and do it inside your car once you're confident to make those good lines. And then once you got good lines up here, move down and do it laying down. That is the true test of your flaring abilities. Now you're going to take your 3/16 bubble flare adapter, stick it inside, should slip around. Alright, so it's snug, but you're going to want to check to see if everything is straight. So just make sure this is all looking straight. It's not like crooked on an angle or anything. So yeah, as you can see, mine right now is on a slope like that. So I'm gonna fix that. Just loosen it off, get it to sit until it looks really nice and flat. So mine's looking good. So that looks good right there. Everything's straight. Now, take your ratchet, tighten this down. And the thing about this is, if it feels like it's going pretty, it's not taking a lot of effort to turn it, then you're doing good. But as soon as it feels like it's binding, it's pretty much messed up and you gotta redo it. So get this tight down. You don't want to over tighten it, just tighten it till it stops. Now, loosen her off. Slide that aside. Pull this guy out. Now let's call a bubble flare. Basically a single flare. Now, to do a double flare, you just move this tool back over without that adapter in it. Set that inside your tube. Tighten it down snug. Just make sure it's all straight. And you tighten it down. Fairly tight, not over tightening this. It's a feel thing. This is why I recommend you practice this on the bench. Like, do a bunch until you're confident that you're gonna make good flares, because there's nothing worse than starting the job in the car and having to redo it. So once you got that tightened down, it feels good. It's an inverted flare. So we can loosen these off, pull this out. There you have it. A nice uniform double flare. This is your flare nut. You're gonna want to slide this on before you start to flare, because everybody makes this mistake. Even though I told you, you're probably gonna do it anyways. But before you flare, make sure you slide this on and then start working with your flaring tool, because once you flare this, you can't get the flare nut on. Alright, now that I showed you how to do double flares and the basics of putting a hydraulic e-brake in, you can try it yourself. It's really not that hard. The most important thing is getting really good double flares, because if you don't have good double flares, then it's gonna leak and you're gonna have air in your brake lines and it's just gonna be a terrible day. So make sure you get good practice at making those double flares, and then once you're confident in your flaring skills, move on to the car. On my channel, basically, I'm just going to be doing a lot of car building. I have a lot of work to do on this drift car still. I also have a couple other cars that I'm just going to keep secret for now. But I got a daily that I'm doing some work to. Those are the wheels. Those are the wheels for the daily. Here's a hint: it's a BMW. If you want to keep with me, if you want to build cars with me, if you want to drift, if you want to just do cool things in general, then follow me or subscribe. Whatever YouTube does, subscribe to me, like my videos, and I'm sure to be able to teach you some stuff on how to build your own drift car. Just do any work on a car in general. I do have quite a bit of experience working on cars, and I'm a marine mechanic. That's how I make a living. So right now I'm just finishing up my marine mechanic apprenticeship schooling, and I'll be back home here to just work on cars and make videos. So that's the plan. Stick around. I promise I'll get better at filming and all that stuff, but I only can do one thing at a time, so I'll just practice and make videos about my cars.